Travis Ford and some other neighborhood Crips when they went up to No Jumper, had that altercation with Lush, and the narrative came out that No Jumper is no longer allowed in the city.
Yo, that's crazy. I gotta go react to that. We gotta go over there. We gotta go over there and watch that.
Also seen Main Street beefing it with their enemies as of late. The Swans, the A7s, and the Hoops. Incidents where they seem to be going back and forth with their enemies in the streets, but they seem to be applying a lot of pressure in 2025. But it's a couple situations we gotta touch on now. The first one, like I said, with Tiny Head, Travis Ford was definitely the face behind that movement up at No Jumper. And he's been a reputable member and a respected member in the streets for a long time. But we gotta touch on the situation.
So we're invited down here to No Jumper, man. You know, they gotta let us in, man. You know, this the real community of Los Angeles, California, LA County.
We not playing, cuz, hood. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, we got some community leaders out here, man. We doing what we supposed to do. Nigga told us to press play. We press and play. We just over press play.
That's it. Been here 11 o'clock. We was here 11:30.
Now this derived from a situation back in 2006. But as we get into
He said, on the morning of November 30th, 2006, defendant Lamar Perkins entered a gas station on 99th Street and Broadway in South Los Angeles. Perkins held a pellet gun to the head of the cashier while the defendant removed approximately $1,500 in cash from the register. Travis Ford acted as the lookout. Both Perkins and Ford were members, meaning like past tense, like they're not no more, were members of the Mafia Crips street gang, also known as 9-8 Main Street Crip.
In that case, we're gonna leave it up to the people on how y'all take this situation. All we gonna do is speak on the facts. And we know historically, the Main Street, although not the biggest set, they for sure not the smallest set either, and they have been known to get some chili in the city. And it's alleged that one of their members, who was pivotal in jumping off one of them early murders between the Mains and the Hoovers, also was involved in a situation that the feds called Operation Fraud Street Mafia, where he was allegedly moving hundreds of pounds of methamphetamine, as well as conducting a $500 million fraud scheme while he's been in prison for a first-degree murder on the Hoovers. But like we said, the Mains have been known to get money, man. And right now they operating in two different sections of the city. There's Green Meadows area on the east side and there's Florence area on the east side. Now 9-8 Main is going to be between 98th and 104th and between Broadway and San Pedro. Now we know 98th Street has very distinct features with the one-ways, so it's very easy to tell when you own their main block over here on the east side. And their counterpart section in the 8 Folds is going to be over here on 84th and Main between 79th and Manchester and Grand and San Pedro.
You ain't outside, you ain't never would have killed his ass. Shady individual, knocked him out and took his strap. Tell these niggas happy cause they met me. Want my autograph? I got niggas begging me, don't do it like I'm bloodbath. She gon' sit the trap in my hands, I ain't gotta ask. Nah, I do not want your hoe cause that bitch trash.
Now, within the last about 15 years, the Mains have took a different stance in terms of the politics in the city. At one point, they was cool with the Hoovers and beefing with the neighborhoods, primarily all the East Coast hoods that they somewhat surrounded by. In the Q102s, the 9-7s, and the 11-8s.
That's crazy. We can kind of see it there. 9-7 East Coast Crib, 9-8 Main Street Mafia Crib, 112 East Coast Crib. Yeah, see how the streets are divided though? The streets are divided like per block. Like one block, one section is one hood, and then so forth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, literally, you can be right here, and then you can make a left or a right, and end up right here on 92nd. Bro, you in the blood area now.
And they've historically been known to beef with the Swans. But in 2009, the altercation transpired, and the gunplay went up between the Mains and the Hoovers. So now what we see is a hood that's hashed out their differences with historical enemies and are now included somewhat in the neighborhood roll call, as we seen 4 Extra when he said 30s to the 100s to the main streets. They gonna be cool with all the East Coast hoods now. And we got a shout out Foe, shout out M Hats, shout out YCA 80 Bands, All them dudes supported us early when we was trying to get our Instagram popping. And y'all gonna make sure y'all run they shit up, man. And tap in with Richard Dummy if y'all want y'all music videos looking like the Mafias as well. But we've seen these dudes with different East Coast rappers as well. We done seen Shotta and M-Hats with Low 5 and all them dudes from the 6-pack. Day 3, Playaways, all them. And they have a tight-knit alliance with the 9-0s down Century.
Trying to score a little nigga, let's shoot some sways on the ground, popping it, come do something. We gon' hit they block, fuck it up, it's for YC. I'm a bounce out, purple jeans in the shiesty.
Murder game and DOAs, welcome to 98 for main citizen. Got the car, we used to fake paper plates. What you know about foot misses? I be painting on the 8. He ain't a truck from a hood, just another nigga from the game.
But even though they've cleaned things up with East Coast, they still do beef with 8-7 and 9-7 gangsters who are a part of the Moving Coast to Coast coalition, if you will. But aside from the 8-4s, down Century is where you gonna find all the Mafia Crips, from the west side to the east side. Now, like I said, with Mains being the most dominant, well-known, and the deepest and most active right now, the 9-9s, west side and east side, are also active and reputable sets. But the Mafia car in totality is kind of gonna be somewhat irrelevant in today's politics. So the west side 9-9s, who are gonna be right down Century from these dudes, they beefing with the neighborhoods, they beefing with the Hunters, beefing with the 9-0s, and they beefing with the 8-Trays.
Hold on.
But they, in today's politics. So the west side 9-9s, who are gonna be right down Century from these dudes, they beef.
Hold on. West Side 9-9 Mafia Crip. That's down West Century Boulevard in Vermont. Down, was that Manchester? Down Broadway. You got 9-8. 9-8 Main Street Mafia Crip.
With the neighborhoods, they beefing with the Hunters, beefing with the 9-0s, and they beefing with the 8-Trays, but they cool with the Hoovers. And the Watts 9-9s, of course, play no role in the situation between the neighborhoods and the Hoovers, but they are cool with the Mains. Now, Beachtown Mafia is not going to be really active like that anymore. Grape Street is really going to occupy them areas over by 97, Bandera. We know Grape is all over there. So this is what kind of makes the Mafia car in all kind of losing somewhat of an identity, if you know what I'm saying. It's kind of divided. But with the 8-4s, not only are they beefing with the Hoovers and the Swans, they also beefing with Barrio Ochenta over here. So as you can see, Main Street, not the biggest hood, especially territory-wise, but they got some of the biggest enemies in the city. Beefing with the H-Gang from the 50s to the 100s, as well as the Troubles, and we know how the Swans get down.
Main Street, who gon' take it from me? The young niggas in the game and we playing homie. So rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle, that's a real Crip. These niggas tagging all these bitches, I'm a real pimp.
Going back to the elephant in the room with Tiny Hen, man. Like I said, his face card is real big right now on the heels of that situation at No Jumper. But we gotta rewind the clock back to November 30th, 2006, where it said that Travis Ford and his homies D-Mac, Slim, and TK was rolling through their hood when they came across another dude named Roy DeBose. Now, Roy DeBose, let him tell it, was not a member of Main Street. Everybody else was a documented, admitted member of Main Street. And at that time, they was rolling through their hood on 99th and Broadway. Now, they said that they rolling through and find DeBose coming out one of the alleys in the neighborhood, and he jumps into the car with them other 4 Main Street members, and they go to the gas station. At this point, it said that DeBose jumps out with TK, whose real name is Lamar Perkins, and they pop in the store while Tiny Hen stays outside and is looking out. It said that Perkins had a pellet gun at the time, and he pointed it at the clerk, and DeBose jumped the counter and slid for $1,500. Now, after this situation, they seemingly got away. But a month later, December 29th, 2006, Travis Ford, again, aka Tiny Hen, his probation officer is doing a search at his crib, and in the midst of them searching, they find DeBose in the back of his crib playing video games. Mind you, he said he heard they've been looking for him in regards to this robbery. So when DeBose gets up in his room, he immediately starts talking. He already said, I heard you've been looking for me. That's some crazy statements to make to begin with. But he goes on to say, in all, that he was forced to do this whole move with the Main Streets. He said he's not from Main Street, but Tiny Hen and all these dudes been pressuring him to be down with the program. He said after the robbery, all the Main Street members yanked the $1,500 off him. He didn't get a cut, nothing. And that he was scared for his life because these dudes threatened him. He went on to say that he was from Redondo Beach. He didn't know nothing about the hood. He don't like none of this shit. He don't like hearing gunshots every night. He broke down completely, fell into the detective's arms. But at this time, Perkins, Travis Ford, and DeBose have all went down for this robbery. Travis Ford is on a different case, still related to the robbery, but he's being tried differently aside from DeBose. I don't know why, that's just what it is, but DeBose takes his case to trial. Now, the key things that he's trying to prove in trial is, number one, he's not from Main Street. He's trying to dodge the gang enhancement. And number two, he's trying to dodge the robbery altogether by saying that he was under duress by the Main Streets to commit this robbery. And at this time, Lamar Perkins, aka TK, who was again an admitted member of Main Street, initially invoked his Fifth Amendment right to shut up. But against the will of his defense, he ends up reneging that right and hops on the stand in DeBose's defense. He said he wanted to prove that DeBose wasn't a Main Street member, and he went as far as to say that him and Travis Ford forced DeBose into the car that day. And I say force, I would say very lightly. He said that they kind of made some backhanded threats, saying if he didn't hop in the car and do this with him, something may happen to him. This is what Perkins said on the stand to help DeBose out, because he said he didn't want DeBose wrapped up in this, that he's a good dude. He said that now that he's taking a stand, he knows that the Mains are going to label him a snitch. He's basically throwing his whole gangbanging career away to help DeBose fight his case in trial and to prove that DeBose not from Main Street. But as we see through communications that they was having on Facebook, Perkins and DeBose seem to have a closer relationship than DeBose may have had to other members from Main Street. And we see Perkins referring to DeBose as Mafia, further insinuating that he was from the set. But after Perkins gets off the stand, there's a detective that's called as an expert witness, Detective Levant, who's dealt with multiple Main Street cases. As soon as he gets on the stand, he said he reviewed statements made by DeBose, Perkins, and Travis Ford. And Levant claims that Travis Ford's statement is going to be his main point of intelligence in proving that DeBose actually is from Main Street. It said that Travis Ford made a statement on November 30th, 2006. Again, that's the same day that the robbery took place. And they paid him a visit again a month later. So somehow, some way, Travis Ford was questioned about this situation right after the robbery happened. And it said that he referred to DeBose as Killer Cam. Now that statement right there will prove contrary to DeBose's whole defense by saying that he wasn't a gang member. They used that to say he is one because he got a hood name, and Travis Ford told us his hood name. Now that was the detective's main piece that he wanted to get off on the stand. The fact that Travis Ford referred to him as a member. But of course, the fact that he was forced to get into the car was also debunked because DeBose never said he was forced to get in the car. Perkins, aka TK, was the only one to say he was forced in the car. So the prosecutors are like, number one, how are you forced?
They playing this, man, for real. What's the plans today? Bro, no plans today, bro. We just doing a bunch of reactions today. We chilling. Man, I was in LA. I was frustrated, bro. So many traffic in LA. No, that's facts.
The car. You never said you were forced.
LA traffic ain't
It was
no
somebody
joke.
else that they said they forced you, trying to help you out in your trial. Number two, if DeBose was under such duress, what was he doing in Travis Ford's house a month later, hanging out with him playing video games? So those three things, the statement proving that he wasn't forced in the car and still hanging out with Travis Ford, is how they put it together, that he wasn't being coerced or forced or under any kind of stress or duress when hanging out with the Main Streets, and that this crime was committed for the benefit of the Mains. Now, another thing is, like I said, Travis Ford was in a separate situation. He didn't take it to trial. and he took a plea deal and got out on time served for this case. But I gotta say, the reason why he got a plea deal wasn't because he made statements. They made that very clear in the paperwork that his statements had nothing to do with the plea deal, but he did get out on time served. Now, DeBose had the opportunity to challenge
bro, you can't.
Tiny Hen's statements
you can't,
on him.
Honestly, bro. You can't get away from that. Like, LA traffic is LA traffic. 5 miles take me 45 minutes. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, it's really tough, bro. How is that possible? Be LA traffic, bro. Just LA being LA. LA being LA and shit, for real. How do you drive around there? Do you drive? Yeah, I do drive around there. I'm from there. I hate that shit just as much, too. LA traffic be annoying.
DeBose also lost his appeal. Now, there was an in-camera hearing between DeBose's defense team, his trial prosecutors, and the prosecutors on Tiny Hen's case, where they had an on-camera hearing about Travis Ford's statements. Those documents are sealed. DeBose tried to get them unsealed, but the judge motioned for them to remain sealed. But one question one may ask is, why did Travis Ford not get politicked on for this situation? My only analysis and observation of that situation is because he was the only one left that went down on this case from Main Street. Mind you, DeBose was trying to say he wasn't from Main Street this whole time. He tried to denounce being a homie, not being from the gang, and wanted nothing to do with the Main Streets. So he's not taking no paperwork to the Main Streets. He's out the way. And Perkins, TK, took the stand. So he's already the bad people. He can't take the stand and then come to the mains with paperwork on Travis Ford. So with no reputable members being able to produce this paperwork to anybody in the mains, this is why Travis Ford would not have been politicked on for this situation. It's basically his word versus two busters. And in my eyes, I would say this is something similar to the Big Sad.
That's crazy, and that's facts too. Like, two busters versus one dude word, bro. Like, they're gonna believe that one dude, especially if it's like, you know, he out there in the streets, he being reputable, his cripping on point, he's doing all this stuff right. He go down, boom, he get out, no snitching, no nothing, bro. And then you got another dude who's saying he not from the set. You got another dude trying to say, like, you know, trying to save the other dude. That's from, like, bro, that's out. You know what I'm saying? So I get why they didn't, like, you know, politic on them. But do you take the train or the bus? Yeah, I do, bro. I do too. Shit, it is what it is. You gotta take the train, the bus, take a car, whatever makes it easier, faster. We for sure doing all that. Where's a good Korean barbecue spot? Mike Castle on Western and Melrose, bro, in Hollywood. Go check that out. That shit fire. No cap.
A lot of games be being played and a lot of favoritism is had with certain individuals. You got to keep that shit a buck through and through, no matter who it is. If it's on the paperwork, that's it. And tell me somebody who's able to argue with the paperwork. Only a favorite can do that. Anybody else, if you got some paperwork and your homies read it, they see you doing the bad work and you doing something that you're not supposed to, you're going to pay the price based on the paperwork. There is no explanation. And some may call it dirty politicking, whatever you want to call it, but 9 times out of 10, the paperwork is going to be the decision maker. Now, we know since this period in 2006, like I said, the mains have been going crazy. They've been heating up in their war with the Hoovers, the Swans, the A7s, and we see a lot of their young homies seemingly catching and getting caught and just being outside playing the game. Most recently, we seen one of their homies, I think it's the same dude from that MHAS video, got caught by the Hoovers in the Verizon store, and they whooped his feet in the Verizon store.
That's our Hoover, nigga, Jojo, nigga, Jojo. Get
220 doors. She gotta be behind one of these.
But we done seen him up at the A7's park and in the A7 hood, catching one of them dudes, had him on the floor crying. We done seen Midwest Active catch one of they homies up at the barbershop, damn near had him crying. But the things that y'all don't see that are still happening is the murders. Now, like I said, both of these areas, Green Meadows and this Florence area, where 8-4s and 9-8s are, you're about 4 times more likely to see a homicide occur when compared to the national average. Both of these areas are in the top 10 of the most dangerous sections in the city. And we done recently seen one of their homies just beat 3 bodies. But another one of their homies just went down for a murder of a female who was dealing with the Hoovers on 104th and Fig. Now we gotta rewind it back to October 25th, 2019, where an 18-year-old girl by the name of Chloe Evans was allegedly...
Yeah. That's the, bro, trust me, bro. That's the only good Korean barbecue spot I go to, bro. Trust me, bro. It's called Moon Korean Barbecue, bro. It's on Western and like fucking Melrose, bro. That shit is gas. Best prices, best customer service, bro. Unlimited fucking food, bro. Trust me, bro. Everything else is cool and all that. And if you want to come out of pocket $50, $60 for yourself and, you know, spend $120, $30, fuck it. Go to Jin. You know what I'm saying? Go to the fucking fancy ass $300 fucking Korean barbecue and shit that gives you the same shit that this $23 Korean barbecue will give you, bro. No cap. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could definitely take someone out, you feel me, and go turn up. My girl loves that shit, you know what I mean? So, and then the best Thai food is called Thai by Trio, nigga. It's in downtown LA on Fig. Since we talking about Fig, it's on Fig and like Vernon or something like that. Fig and yeah, I think it's like Fig and like Vernon Avenue or something like that. It's called Thai by Trio. It's across the street from Bank of America bank or whatever. So that shit's fire. You can go check that out for sure. Jen sucks. That shit's ass. I know. They expensive for no reason.
Walking the blade over here on Fig.
Jumping out the truck, get the shooting, they like, what the fuck? All his ass in traffic, boogie down and blew the engine up. He ain't pulled a skid, he need to go and turn his crippin' up. Only told the stock when the stash don't fit the sticky. Honey loads up on they back block, we made Vermont ab hot. Catch his ass on lane, you see what happened to the last ops. Give eviction notice how we moved him off the last block. Would've gave him 12 if I didn't miss the last shot.
Now it's said that a dude from Main Street named John Benson was rolling through Fig looking for the Hoovers or looking for females associated with the Hoovers. They said he was rolling in his white Impala.
This man said after cross-examination, the prosecutor argued the defense had opened the door to all gang evidence by questioning Furlow about gangs and Main Street. Prosecutors contended statements Furlow made to the police at the start of the investigation, but her views of Main Street, how they were looking for a woman associated with the Hoover gang, and Evans was targeted, were all now relevant, as Furlow previously had been cleared that she was afraid of Benson, but now claimed fear of the police. The prosecutor wanted to explore that really she was afraid of the defendant, and now need to know why. She argued Benson repeated identification of himself as from Main Street, and Furlow understanding why Benson was there that night were relevant to why she was now uncooperative and recanting. Yo, crazy work. That shit is wild, bro. Don't be scared of LA, bro. You good. Then you just gotta, if somebody attacks you, bro, you gotta stand on business, bro. You gotta handle yours and get down. I was at the Staples Center downtown, and I got traumatized by it as a kid. Yeah, and I know it could be bad, bro. I know it can be, but you just gotta be ready. You gotta protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay down. You know what I mean? If they try you, handle your business. All these homeless people, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of homeless people out there. You know, that's inevitable. You know, but it is what it is, bro. You know, we try to help as much as we can, man. I ain't got nothing against anybody, bro. No homeless, no Bloods, no Crips, no rules, no nothing there. I got love for everybody. Feel me? And ain't nothing but a squabble at the end of the day. I mean,
and gangbanging. He said he wasn't on no hoe shit this night. He was pulling over females and he was gangbanging. Now, if anybody know Fig, 9 times out of 10, the only way a female gonna talk to you if you a young black dude is if they know you. Most of the time, it's no black men contact unless you over like 40 or 50 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know these females to be pulling up on them and talking to them. And that's what was happening over here on Fig this night. He pulled up on some females and was insinuating that he was looking for some females or some niggas from Hoover based on some situations that had transpired before this. Now, there was a situation a month before this. I can't say if this was related, but somebody was shot over here on the east side by the Main Street Hood and ended up driving themselves to that fire station on 108th and Main. But I can't say that that was an altercation that transpired that led up to these events.
Turn those notifications
Now, it
off.
said that once John Benson was hollering at a female named Chocolate, he ended up getting at Chloe Evans. Now, a witness went on to say that Chloe was from Hoover. I don't know if she actually was, but what was for sure is that she was dealing with some niggas from Hoover. And whatever she said,
I'm Ryan Shackler. What up, Twitch?
What's up, I'm D-Rock. Jackson Chains truly set the standard.
There's a reason athletes and
to Benson caused him to rob her, and he took her phone. Now, at this point, she hops in the car with her pimp, Joshua Ellis, who was from Hoover. And Ellis and Benson seemed to have an exchange between cars. And this is when Benson seemingly aired everything out and killed Chloe Evans over here in the crossfire, trying to either get at her. And this is when Benson...
Oh, that's crazy. It says Evans reported to her pimp, Joshua Ellis, and what had happened, and the shooting occurred when Ellis arrived on the scene. Furlow saw the shooter point a gun, and she both heard the shot. She both heard the gunfire and saw the muzzle flash. The driver of the white car began shooting first, and Ellis fired back. Furlow believed Evans was caught in the crossfire.
And she didn't say she knew who Benson was. She didn't know what happened, and she wasn't scared of Benson. She said she had no idea what Benson was capable of, but who she was scared of was the police. And funny enough, the same detective on this case was Detective Levine, the same one who said Travis Ford made statements 10 years ago from this situation. So we know Levine works this area with the Main Street, with the Hoopers. I've said it multiple times.
Yo, Hardstyle, bro, what's up?
It's a bunch of gang detectives that really grow into the hood that know all these members from these hoods. So it's not surprising that Levine is working 2 different Main Street cases. And Levine said that he had to relocate Furlow, as well as her twin sister and her mother, because on the first trial, she said that she was scared of retaliation from the Main Streets. But in the second trial, she said she was forced to make a statement and she was coached. And she doesn't remember anything from the night that Chloe Evans was killed.
But
in all, regardless of her trying to recant the statements and possibly end this in another mistrial, because remember, she got to come back to work on Fig at some point. And eventually, she's probably going to run into some other people from Main Street that may know her. So she don't want to be necessarily tied into this, I guess. But none of that mattered because they found Benson not guilty of the attempted murder on Joshua Ellis, the dude who actually was from Hoover. But they did convict him of first-degree murder and shooting at an occupied motor vehicle and possession of a firearm by a felon, where they gave him a sentence of 120 years to life in CDC. And just recently, he lost his appeal in that case as well.
Bro, 120.
That's how crazy.
Stop, bro. Stop. 120 years, bro, in prison. Chat, do y'all know what that means? Should I be careful what color I wear, like Compton or Inglewood? I don't know. I don't want to look like a gang. Nah, bro. I mean, honestly, bro, it's like you gotta like. You could be neutral. You know, you could wear black, white. You know, dark colors. I wouldn't do like crazy blues and like hella reds and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like too much. I mean, look, at the end of the day, bro, you're a grown person. You're a grown man. You're a grown man, you feel me? So first of all, you could wear whatever you want to wear, bro. Nobody is telling you you can't wear red or blue or whatever color, bro. You know what I'm saying? So let's get that out the way. You a man first. You wear whatever you want to wear. All right. Second of all, if someone else has a problem with what you're wearing, then so be it. Then it is what it is, bro. You feel me? You're not about to change who you are or what you do to please another man. Second of all, bro, that's out. If another man is telling you to take your shoes or take your clothes off or take your hat off because they don't like it, if you do it, you a bitch. If you do it, you a bitch, bro. I'm sorry. If you do it, you a bitch, bro. Because you can't let nobody else dictate your life or tell you what to do, bro. You only could do that. All right, so let's get that out the way. Now, it doesn't really matter what color you're wearing. It's your demeanor, right? It's your demeanor. It's how you walk. It's how you moving. It's how you look at people. Like, if I have, I don't have nothing here. If this shirt was red, right, and I'm outside, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at niggas like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, feel me? Like, my demeanor says like, oh, he's active, he got a red shirt. Automatically, they're just gonna assume, oh, you a blood. You walk in, you know what I'm saying? You like, man, what's happening? What's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? If you walk with that demeanor and you wearing colors, bro, for sure, they're going to be like, oh, where you from? You know what I'm saying? Where you from? You feel me? And then they're going to bang on you. And then, boom, that's that. You feel me? So it really depends. Like, you could wear whatever you want as long as you cool and you know how to move, bro. You feel me? Like, nobody's going to say nothing, you know, but... And yeah, for sure, you could tell, nigga, you could tell who's who, bro. Like, bro, when you race in LA, bro, you feel me? When you race in LA, bro, like, you know who's who, bro. You feel me? You know what niggas is from what section. You know, you feel me? What colors niggas represent and where, bro. Niggas know, bro, like what. You feel me? Where they at with it in general, bro? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, like if you out there, then you gonna know. You know what I'm saying? So, there's gangsters everywhere, bro. There's gangsters everywhere. Nah, they gangsters everywhere, bro. But you ain't gotta worry about that. You ain't gotta worry about that, bro. Nobody's worried about you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta worry about no gangs, nowhere. You know, you good, bro. You solid. Nah, don't worry about it, man. You good, bro. You good. Nobody's checking for you, bro. You feel me? Nobody's checking for you, bro. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You can wear what you want. You can wear what you want. You know what I'm saying?